Hi everyone, my name's Joshua Pilmore and I am a choreographer living in London.
Welcome to Studio Sessions, a video series for creative performers. Each week we go behind the scenes on the shoots and sit down with guests to discuss their careers, the creative industry, and share the lessons they've learned along the way.
Welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me.
How's the day been for you?
The day's been great, really enjoy it. These kind of things make me a bit nervous because I'm usually the one behind the camera or not kind of in the vision. So yeah, it's the difference to be on the other side.
What's your advice to someone who is in that same position and they're kind of not feeling too confident going into something like this?
I think practice makes perfect for sure. I think when I first started doing my classes in London, there was a point where I never used to dance at the end. And obviously it's not about dancing at the end, it's about training. But I wouldn't even demonstrate my choreography. I'd be like, right, everyone dance with me, blah, blah, blah. And then they got to a point where I was like, right, okay, you actually need to show the kids. I'm joking. You actually need to, get in front of it and like demonstrate it properly. And then from there, I was thought, you know what, I'm going to film myself as well and just push myself to, feel a bit more comfortable, because even though I've taken on a more of a teacher choreographer role, I still want to kind of give myself notes as well and look back at myself and kind of be like, okay, well, that arm was a bit weak there. That was, because I don't have as much time to go to class. So that was in a way my sort of training. So practice makes perfect, really. And I'm still a bit uncomfortable with the camera in class and stuff. So yeah, it's a journey for sure.
And what was it that made you not put yourself out to start with?
When I left college, my college was great that I trained at, Creative Academy, little plug there. But the industry, I had a really bad experience with someone that was in the industry who was very tough about my weight and how I looked. And I'm quite a tough person. Like I can take it on the chin, but when you're kind of told, okay, you're never going to work, it was kind of like, whoa. I mean, it's changed a lot now. It's obviously like this. I'm old, so this is like 10, 12 years ago. But that, I feel like, it sounds really cringy to say, but things like that stick with you. And that's why I'm so careful of what I say to the young people that I train and teach, because I myself, like, that was a flippant comment made 12 years ago and it's still in the back of my head now. I mean, I've tried to better myself over the last few years especially, and I feel a bit more comfortable, but I should have been comfortable with how I looked anyway. But yeah, it is hard when you have someone that is high up in the industry tell you something like that so bluntly.
Yeah.
I saw a TikTok the other day actually, and it was this guy saying, like, playing out a kind of scene, and he said, oh, your nose looks so strange when you look to the side like that. I love it. And he was like, thanks, I'll think about that for the next 20 years of my life. And it's so true. It's like ridiculous. We really, I'm a big overanalyzer, big imposter syndrome, like massive. So I think it's the Pisces in me as well. I overanalyze everything. And I think people see this kind of front that I put on in class and on socials and stuff. And that is part of me as well. But part of me is very self-doubting and very like kind of over-analysing everything. So that's why I'm a bit of a perfectionist with things as well.
Do you feel like that in some ways benefits what you do though?
It benefits and hinders. Like, it benefits because I'm a perfectionist and I'm good at cleaning. Like, so if we're doing a routine for a movie that's just passed, for example, I'm good at sitting and watching something and cleaning it like to perfection. But then also, if I'm not feeling something, or if something I know is not as good as what I could do, or something I feel like, for example, when I did Move It, 2 years ago, I did a Britney set. The year before that, I did a Lady Gaga set, and it was my favorite thing I've ever done. Like, I absolutely loved it. And then straight away the next year, I was like, oh my God, I've got to beat that in my own head. And I just basically crumbled. And it was like, the piece was good, the dances are amazing, but I don't even watch it anymore. Like, I can't watch it. So yeah, I think it hinders and helps.
And how do you deal with that? Because obviously, if you create something you're really proud of, and then the next thing doesn't meet that expectation, how do you kind of like cope with that self-doubt?
I think it's hard to over criticize your own work. My thing is that I always have to love what I do, and I'm really lucky that I get given free rein to kind of create pieces based on things that I love. So if something's not working, I kind of just put it down to, okay, that vibe wasn't my vibe. Let's try a different vibe. Same for class choreo. Some weeks I'm like, yes, I love this song, I love this choreo, I can't wait to teach it. And then other weeks I'm like, oh, and then I think, okay, two vibes that are the same, one worked, one didn't, let's try something completely different. So I think switching something up is like a good thing to do as well. That helps me kind of get out of the rut. But don't get it twisted, some days I'm choreographing, I always choreograph in my ensuite. It's like my famous little ensuite that I'm choreographing. Everyone's seen the ensuite. But sometimes I will stand in the corner and almost scream because I'm like, I'm so tired. I just need to get this done and I hate everything. So I just sometimes need to take myself out of the situation, stroke my dog, chill out, and then go back in.
Is that the reason you got a dog?
Oh my God, yeah. The dog is great. She lies on the bed and watches me. And whenever I'm not feeling it, I just go over and have a cuddle and feel better.
Love that. So kind of going on to the first look from today, what was that and what made you bring that?
So I really like big, baggy, oversized kind of clothes. A lot of the artists that I work with and a lot of the music I kind of dance to is kind of dark. So the first look I bought today was a spiked tracksuit, which was really painful to wear actually. I wanted to wear it after, but I can't even sit down in it. I can't, like bend down in it or anything. But it's kind of an oversized structure, but the top's a bit more cropped, so it does pull me in a little bit. So I don't know, I just thought it was kind of like something different. And I thought it would look cool, like the outline of it would look cool because the spikes are quite long. Yeah. So yeah, little hedgehog.
And when you think of like photos, because obviously as a choreographer, you're going to have photos for a different need than maybe someone who's a general day-to-day performer. How do you approach photos compared to what someone else might approach them?
So obviously I'm not trying to be a commercial dancer, so I don't have to show my body off. I'm not trying to do like a perfect headshot, an acting headshot, a smiley headshot. I'm just trying to bring my vibe. So for example, any artist or my agent, if anyone is like looking for someone that's kind of matched to their vibe, they can show this picture of me in this spiky tracksuit and they're like, this guy's matches your vibe. And I think that's really important to kind of match. I've been really lucky that all the artists I've worked for have kind of fit into this kind of alt pop girl kind of category, so I can have loads of fun with that. So as well, it's kind of about me just getting across like who I am as a person and trying to show a bit of personality.
But then like flipping that round, like I don't think you are lucky that's happened. I think the brand you've built has led those kind of people to you.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Because I feel like if you purvey a certain vibe, it's like the same as you were saying a second ago, they're going to look through, these are the options. That person fits our aesthetic. How kind of considered are you when it comes to like your personal brand?
I'm considered when it comes to my personal brand because if I'm doing a job with an artist, I want to love that job because everyone says, I want to work with artists, It's hard work. Like, don't get it twisted as well. It's great. I love it. But everything kind of gets edited and changed. So the original vision that I would go forward with will get chopped and changed and edited. So like you have to really leave your ego at the door because those things can end up looking like not your work in a way, which is fine. I have to do what the artist wants. They're paying me. And
also I suppose that artist already has their own brand. So it's kind of like, how can you marry your brands together rather than you just come in and take over? Yeah.
With branding for me, it's just stuff that I'm really interested in. And I think that's the most authentic way to do it. Like if you look at the Move It pieces I did this year, it was either my favorite film or my favorite TV series everything was like my favorite things. And that's because I just want to love what I'm doing. I want to be interested in it. I'm always as well obsessed with like strong, powerful female characters. So luckily enough for me, I do work with quite a lot of female presenting people. So that means I can really push for that as well. I can be strong characters. I always want my girls to be just as hard hitting as my boys. But in terms of branding, like it's just kind of what I like and what I love. And I've always been quite handy on like a laptop or like a editing app. I can kind of do most of that sort of stuff myself, like class posters, logos, all stuff like that. So I kind of always have it in the back of my mind. Okay, your colors, you've chose red, you've chose black. That goes through for my youth company. Obviously my youth company is called More, which is Pilmore. That's my second name. So I just kind of try and keep everything close knit, I suppose. And I love coming up with new things. Like I love kind of thinking about, okay, how can I brand this? How can this sound cool? And how will this look good on a poster? Because I was actually really concerned about More at first. I remember saying to my partner, like, I can't imagine kids saying, I'm going More training. But now it's all I hear. So it's weird how it kind of ends up working. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel like with any kind of brand name, I think people sometimes spend too long thinking about the brand rather than like Nike. What Nike's like a Greek goddess or something.
Also, saying Nike's weird to me because I've said Nike all my life. Now my best friend works at Nike and I'm literally like, I have to say it correct. It just feels weird. But it's random things can sometimes be the best.
Yeah. So kind of going back to your choreography, how was it you got into choreography initially?
going backpedaling again then to when I was training. Again, it wasn't anything to do with the college. The college was great, but we had someone visit us, and it just completely put me off. And I just thought to myself, I can't work for someone like you. I want to be you, so I can change this. This person doesn't work anymore. So it's not someone in the industry, in case anyone's thinking, who is it? You won't know them. But I think I just wanted to be like, I don't want other people to feel like how I felt in that moment. So I kind of wanted to switch it, and I wanted to be the person in charge. Also, I'm really terrible with authority. Like, I really struggle with people telling me what to do. So I was like, I need to, I think, be on the other side. But yeah, choreography was something that always interested me. When I was 12 or 10 or whatever, I was always a little gay kid doing like dances in assembly, like for the whole school. Like, I didn't care. We were dancing to Girls Aloud with chairs. I was in like year 4, like, yes,
Does
Hand of the Underground. I don't even think videos were around. It's going back 25. How old am I? God, I'm 33 soon, so it's going back like 22 years, yeah. But I was always interested in it. And luckily enough, where I trained, shout out to George Kirkham at Creative Academy, he really gave me so many opportunities to choreograph things whilst I was still training, because I kind of brought this to him and I was like, look, I'm not too sure I want to be a dancer. And I spoke to a few other people and they said, you have to be a dancer first because you make the connections. And I thought, I don't want to though. I don't want to do it. And if I don't want to do something, I'm not going to do it, because I need to love what I'm doing. And bless him, George, he gave me so many opportunities to choreograph and create things whilst I was still training. And he used to give me some random things. He'd be like, I want a piece to Madonna, but make it about this and make it about this. And I'd be like, what? But I had to do it. And so I suppose in a way I've kind of become quite good at dealing with whatever gets thrown at me. So
I feel like sometimes it's those having someone else to give you a challenge, then it becomes more about your problem solving ability of like, how do I match those things together? And I feel like that's a really good skill to have just for your brain, because it's like, now anything that comes up, you could mash two things together and your brain would probably find a way to do it.
And I'm a bit of a maths geek as well, so I love problem solving.
Love that.
I love like formations, problem solving. I write everything down. I love it. So yeah.
In terms of like writing everything down then, when it comes to actually choreographing a piece, especially with like a large amount of people, what does that process look like?
So I'll start off first, obviously think of the concept already. So if we think about, so I just did a piece for Jelly, which was based on Hocus Pocus. So I think, okay, I love this film. What kind of vibes can we match to each section of the film? What songs can I match? So it kind of really kind of go into the music side of it. I've got a brilliant music editor as well. So he'll put it all together and then I'll listen to it loads and loads and loads. I'll be on the treadmill just listening to it on repeat. And then I get my book. I've got a really trusty notebook that was gifted to me by someone from Studio 79. And it's actually a Hocus Pocus notepad, actually, which is random. But I write everything down. So before I even choreograph, before I stand up, I will write all the formations down, listen to it. And I think, okay, this bit will sound good in a V. Dot all the V down. Obviously, the characters are different kind of. So I've got 3 main characters, they're crosses. And then I just kind of see how it all would work. There's an app for it now, but I used it once and I'm just a bit old school. I like pen and paper.
I feel like sometimes pen and paper just, it's like even just like writing something sometimes compared to like typing it.
And it helps it what's the word? Like
undulate?
Unmashes my brain. What's the word? Like clears my brain basically. And then that also helps me choreograph a lot easier, because if I'm seeing like, okay, well this section's like a tight V, well obviously if we're tight, it's going to be strong arm lines are going to look really good here. So I'll like section that off. Then I'll be like, okay, this is a drop in the music and they spread out. I've got 4/8 score. It makes it less intense and more manageable, because I've got chunks of choreography rather than like a full 4 minute of choreo that I've got to create. And that's really helped this year, because I've had 7 pieces to do in the last 2 months.
So going to the second look from today, what was that? What made you bring that?
So the second look was my partner had this headpiece from, I think it's Malon Fashion, who's an incredible fashion designer. They do a lot of like the RuPaul's Drag Race girls, and more recently, I think they're showing at Paris Fashion Week this week. They're incredible. I love their stuff. It's basically like a horned face kini. And I
love the phrase face kini.
Face kini. So it's like a tight kind of like thing with these big giant horns. it's kind of mental, but you know, I'm kind of mental, so it kind of helps. And again, going back to that sort of like alt kind of character, again, if you're showing this to artists that are in that kind of underground, they might think, oh, I can see a bit of me in there. But also, I just wanted something that looked really cool in terms of shape for a headshot. So again, I don't have to do a normal headshot. I can do something a bit crazy. So I saw my opportunity and ran with it.
Because also I feel like if you've got a lineup of headshots for like choreographers, it's like, who's that? Like, you just want to know
who's got the big giant gold horns. That's me.
So for you, what was your kind of like first big job that you were kind of like, this is fully me as a choreographer in the industry now?
So the first big job I had was actually with Rina Sawayama, which I actually got through my close friend Joelle, who kind of introduced me to her as the assistant choreographer on the job. And I did, I think, 2 music videos for her, and then it went into lockdown. And I felt like, oh my God, 2 music videos with the same artist. She was building as well, and I was like, I'm building as well. And like the last music video we did, it was literally the day. It was this time last year, not last year. It was this time 5 years ago, because it was just before my birthday, and I think it was my birthday the next day, and then we went into lockdown after that. And the video was incredible, but straight after lockdown, she wanted a world tour. And I'd kind of, because it had been 2 years, we hadn't done anything, I kind of thought, oh, she'll probably pick someone else. And then when she called me and was like, look, I'd really like you to do the world tour, I was just kind of like, whew, okay. And then when she sent me like the set list and like how she saw things, she's so like intellectual, she's brilliant to work with. I was just like, wow, this is big. Like, it was 2 dancers, which again I think is almost harder, because if I've got 10 dancers, I can
It's
do
a lot more
formations
shapes and
stuff. But if I've got 2, it's just choreo. And Rina herself wanted to dance as well, which I love. But it's then again about making her look. It was just a big kind of like, oh my God, what am I going to do? But my way of going through things is, it sounds so lame as like advice, is to just go for it. Like, I was like, I can either sit here and overthink this and overplan this, or I can just go in to my ensuite, have a dance and just have a laugh. And then things get changed. But that was the first time I thought, okay, this is going to go somewhere. And I worked with her for 5 years. She's on a break at the minute, but I'd obviously love to work with her again. But we did Coachella together, Glastonbury, the Graham Norton show. She did so much for me, as in like career wise for me. Took me to so many different spaces with different people that I'm just like forever thankful for her.
So how does it kind of feel like going into a space that you maybe don't know every single person in the room? How do you kind of build kind of rapport with people?
So my best advice would be to just be nice to everybody, which sounds like a given, but on stressful shoot days when you're there for 12 hours and like you're trying to get the shot and everyone's like, the tension, like it's electric. I love it, but it can get very tense. I've always just been super nice to everybody, because they could book you for something else, and they have. I've booked like, I think 3 TV adverts through 1 music video that I did for Rina. And because everyone liked my vibe on set, that's then got me to do more work. So that's one thing. But also, I am such an extroverted introvert. Is that the right way around? So I'm very like, I can chat and chat and chat, but actually inside I'm dying. Like I love sitting at home on my own with my dog. Like even my partner's like this sometimes, and I'm like that. Just talking at the side of my head. He ain't got a clue either, he just chats. But yeah, I think for me, it's like I have a switch, and it's like, right, the Josh show, I need to be on form, because this is an important job. And then after, don't speak to me for 2 days. So yeah, for me, it's nerve-wracking. I think everyone has this weird thing with me that they think I'm super confident, and I am confident, but I don't have anxiety, but I get very anxious. Even now, still to this day, I've been teaching class in London for 6 or 7 years. Every Tuesday, I feel sick all day. And then as soon as I get there, I'm fine. But the lead up to it, oh God, I'm at home like I don't want to go. But obviously, when I get there, I have the best time. But yeah. And
I feel like I struggle with the same thing, where you know it's going to go well.
Yeah.
And like, but you still have that kind of like sickness feeling inside of just like, I just feel uncomfortable for some reason.
Even this was stressing me out.
Yeah.
Like, the thought of talking and getting cancelled or saying something. But yeah, it's just, once you're in it, and you just got to do it. Yeah. So here we are.
So moving on to the third look from today, what was that? What made you bring that?
So the third look, I actually don't know. I wanted something a little bit more like London kind of like grunge vibe. I don't even know why, but obviously just chose a Union Jack jumper. You can get more London than that. But I just kind of wanted a picture that if I get booked to do like a workshop abroad and they want my photo for something, I've got a Union Jack on my jumper. You know where I'm from. You know what I mean? So I just thought it was kind of a cool vibe. So yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Ooh! Yeah.
Ooh! Charlie, look at that. That's the shot, bitch.
You look royal. I thought you was giving that.
No way.
Love that.
I'd be scared.
Yeah.
Really? My ears have.
Yeah, it was really cool. And again, I think as I mentioned earlier, as soon as I saw it, I was just like, that just gives me like Vivienne Westwood punk kind of vibes. Like I've got a book over there that I just found in a charity shop. It's just like kind of punk from the 90s or something.
And that's another era that I'm like really interested in, especially now if you feel like, I feel like pop music is kind of gearing more towards that sort of rock grunge vibe with like Lizzo's new video and even Gaga's new album is very kind of rock heavy, and obviously Beyonce Act 3 we're thinking is going to be a rock inspired album because she's reclaiming all of the so I just thought, why not something different? I've not done that kind of vibe before either. So, and
I think as well, like going back to authenticity you were talking about earlier, I think having something that is kind of very you, like trends are going to kind of go up and down, and like if you kind of constantly try and match the trends, I feel like you'll never be someone who's really known for anything. Whereas like if this rock wave comes up, it's gonna be like, well, Josh is gonna be perfect to do that because that's the brand that you've kind of been consistent with.
And stuff always comes back. It's changing again. Like everything's always changing and evolving and circling back. So,
How do you kind of cope with the change if it's, for argument's sake, if you're not on trend right now?
I don't think I'm on trend at the minute, to be fair. Like as in terms of my choreography, I feel like there's a real shift to have this more like groovy kind of like, not throwaway, but everything just kind of falls into place and feels so cool. I'm so not like that. I'm a sharp, full out, tacky, like I love everything in your face. And I feel like that, I suppose, is not taking a step back, but the other stuff's way cooler now. And I suppose a lot of the artists are wanting that sort of vibe as well. But I'm not changing to that vibe. First of all, I'm too old. Second of all, I don't enjoy moving like that. I can appreciate it. I love it. But I don't enjoy moving like that. I like being sharp, full out and strong. So I'll just stay in my lane and wait for it to circle back. And I can also shapeshift, but it's not something that I enjoy doing, if that makes sense. I can not choreograph, obviously, to the extent of some of those people that are incredible, but I can blag it a little bit if I need to. Like I've had a few briefs that I'm like, oh God. But then I've had other briefs where I'm like, I actually can't do that.
But I suppose that's like the kind of world of briefs. It's like something can come through and it's someone else's idea that they're bringing to it. I think that's almost the difference between working professionally and just doing things for fun. Yeah,
for sure. I had a brief come through the other day from a director that I've worked with before, and he was like, I really want like hip hop elements of breaking. I was like, you've got the wrong guy. Like, love you. And it was for a band that I really like as well. And I was just like, I can't say yes because it's just a disservice to people that can actually do this really well. It's like a lot of the times people want Vogue elements added. I'm always like, get a Vogue choreographer for them because I ain't taking a job off one of the girls. Like I'm not doing it. But it's kind of hard at the minute.
What would your advice be to someone who's looking to get into choreography?
It's tough. You have to really love it. I don't want to say this. I don't want to downplay it, like make it sound awful, but it's actually quite lonely because you spend a lot of time on your own creating, thinking, choreographing, everything solo until you get into the studio. So I like being on my own. I like my own space and my own time. So it works well for me. But advice-wise would be film anything you can with your friends and put it online. Social media is such a machine, and I hate that we've become so reliant on it, but I've booked every single piece of work I've ever done through my Instagram. Well, the first set, then obviously I got an agent a few years ago that's helped me book a few more, but still the majority I've booked through my Instagram. So, and it's so easy. Got an iPhone, like you can shoot. So like if you see Ryan Lee Seeger at the minute is shooting a lot of like concepts just in the studio with dancers with his phone, and they look incredible, and I'm sure that's going to get him booked for things. like you just need to experiment and get in there, get your mates involved, do it outside in the sun or in the rain. You know, step up to the streets. Like, that's just literally get as much content out as possible. And I've been lucky enough to see people that have come to me saying, "Oh, I want to do choreography," that are now like really starting to build a following. And that's how it all starts. You've got to build that kind of following first, and then obviously, hopefully, the right people start following you and the jobs come in.
And in terms of kind of the content you're putting out, would that be kind of going for trying to do as much as possible, or kind of taking kind of like putting less out but making sure those are like bigger pieces?
I think it's a mixture of both. Like it can get really expensive. Like I shot a 4-part kind of concept video, I suppose, last year. Cost me about £3,000, and that was, I was like, everything just kept getting more and more. And then obviously the dancers are all my friends who are professional dancers. I don't want to tell them they've got to buy their own costume when they're doing it for free for me as well. So I had to buy all their costumes as well. So it can get expensive. So sometimes the best thing is in the studio with a few of your mates and just filming something. But yeah, if you've got the funds or you've got the resources that you can pull from, obviously beg, steal, borrow from your friends if it's acceptable, and get together. Yeah, I'm quite lucky. I've got quite a roster of people that I'm really close friends with, that I've worked with for a long time, that will want to help out and stuff. So yeah,
and I suppose that's like shows how important friends and kind of like people in the industry are, that you can surround yourself with. Because if it was just you on your own and you're like, I've got this great idea, trying to pull that together from like complete strangers would be really difficult.
It's really difficult. And I think as well in life, like I surround myself with creatives. Sometimes it's excruciatingly annoying because everyone's creative and everyone just wants to like talk about their ideas and stuff. But today, for example, like my partner's a drag artist and a TikTok influencer. I was able to pull stuff from them. And then obviously my friend, one of my good friends, Charlie, was here doing makeup again. Friend, I mean, I paid her, but still, like I've got people like resources and people that I want to work with me because I enjoy being in their company.
When it comes to if you're casting for a piece that you're doing choreography for, what is it about someone that would make you pick them over someone else?
So I always look at, obviously, if you cast in for, are we talking about like a job or like something like Move It, like with
either or? So
if we think of something like Move It, where I did the Brat piece with all my friends, first of all, I just want to have a good time because everything I do is quite stress. Even though it's fun, it's like there's a lot of stress around it. So if I'm doing something for me, first thing, I want them to be friends because I want to have a good time in the rehearsal room. Secondly, I always love my cast to look like the world I see around me. So I don't want everyone to look a certain way. I don't want everyone to be a certain skin color. I want it to be diverse. I'm always trying to make everything diverse. And thirdly, just people that are like good performers, but also know how I work. Because in a situation, in a rehearsal, I'll change my mind quite quickly and they'll have to reverse it on the left, or they'll have to switch places or change this or change that. I edit quite a lot. So I'll do the bass, go away, watch the video loads, then come in and kind of edit from the top. So quick with changes. I always say I don't want to give a repeat note. So I'm saying no repeat notes. Because if I've said it once, you take it, it is what it is. So yeah, that's kind of my 3 sort of things. Good person, quick with taking on notes. And if you're looking at a cast, I want it to be like the world I see around me. That makes sense.
I love that good person is one of those things.
Oh my God, it's massive. It's the biggest thing. I don't want to be in a room with someone that's got an ego for 9 hours. No. And no one else does either. So yeah.
Moving on to fourth and final look from today, what was that and what made you bring that?
Basically, for the past 2 months, I feel like I've been beaten up with the amount of work that I've got.
This is the metaphor.
The amount of work that I've done. So the metaphor of that is to kind of have my friend Charlie did like a blushed out kind of face. It kind of looks like I've been beaten up a little bit. We love it. And then I just found this like nose plaster on a website, and I thought that could be quite cool because last time I was with you, we did had the big metal kind of face thing around the bottom of my jaw. I thought this is kind of like a
sequel.
It's the sequel. Yeah.
When it comes to like putting pieces together, because I feel like we've shot 3 times now, and every single time you bring in like such a vibe. What's your process of like picking outfits or kind of coming up with those ideas?
Oh, I don't know. I love fashion. I'm not necessarily the most fashionable person in the world, but I'm always watching runways. I'm always like, I love all the fashion girlies like on TikTok. And yeah, I don't know. I just kind of see things that I used to carry a bit more weight on me. So I used to feel like I couldn't wear those things. So I feel like the last 2 times I've seen you, I've been able to experiment a little bit more and feel comfortable within myself. When I should have just been comfortable anyway. But I don't know, I just feel like it's my time to go crazy. Like, I can't dress like that all the time. I'm getting on the tube and teaching class, like 4 classes a day. I can't wear a spiked tracksuit or I don't know, or like the giant platform boots or anything. So it's kind of my time to let my inner like craziness out, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't really think about matching my vibe too much, I suppose. It's just because I'm doing things I love. It kind of matches my brand authentically without me thinking about it too much.
Yeah. You mentioned teaching there. How was it you first got into teaching and how's that evolved?
Oh, so I got into teaching, I think I've always, that sounds so lame, because even when I have some of my kids saying I want to teach class, I'm like, no, wait until you've got some experience. But I feel like I taught since I was like 16. I used to teach Saturday classes in Leicester. And then even when I moved to London for university, I still did classes at lunch. I didn't really know what I was doing. Even when I first started teaching at Base, because I was trying to get a class in London for a long time, no one was really interested. And then Base opened and I thought I'm just going to get a slot, because it was kind of a free fall at the start when a new studio opens, and it was 6 studios and everyone was like, so I just kind of was like, I'm just going to do it. And if I'm honest, I look back on even the last probably going back 3 years, I hate everything that I did. I look back and I'm like, oh God.
Well, I feel like that's the life of a creative.
And that's when my class was like really popping. It was selling out every week and everyone and anyone was there. And I look back at the corner and I was like, oh guys, I'm so sorry. Come back now. I know who I am now. But yeah, I suppose I'd started teaching at Base. As soon as I left college, I was teaching at colleges as well, which I obviously is not the best because I didn't have as much experience as I've got now. But I was living in London. I was 21. I needed a job. I worked at a bar for a bit. But yeah, I love teaching. I've always had a natural kind of ability to connect with people and help them with whatever they're doing. And I'm also quite a caring person. I care a lot about people, and I also care a lot about what people think of me, which is the Pisces in me, I suppose. But yeah, I like looking after people. Like I said, I had that bad experience myself, so I want to kind of
shelter other people from that.
Yeah, I hate the kind of word role model, but I kind of get thrust into that, especially working with young people. And it's really hard to separate because I obviously have the youth company, but I also love this kind of hypersexual, like feminine energy as well. So it's kind of like, I don't know where to place myself sometimes. I don't want to pigeonhole myself, but yeah, I just love looking after people and helping people. As lame as that sounds.
It doesn't sound lame at all. I feel like it's like lovely. I think that's one thing when I first met you, one of the things that I remember so much is just how much of a nice person you are.
Oh, thanks.
And I feel like just having that kind of little authentic niceness about you is just going to do so well for your career, because it's always like a part of who you are. If you was kind of like sit down and talk to your 12-year-old self now, what would you tell them?
Oh God. I'd say from a young age, try and work out what your USP is going to be earlier than you did, because I feel like only USP is your unique selling point. Why are people going to want to come to you for work or for jobs or even like for help? And I think I didn't really realize that what my USP kind of was until I was like probably 25, 26. And then obviously you have to kind of hone in on that craft as well. So kind of my advice is always to people like, what is your USP? What are people going to come for you for? So if I'd have worked that out earlier, I probably could have got working a bit earlier, because it took me a long time. This is another thing. People think you walk out of college into a job. I don't think my first choreography job was till I was 26. That's 6 years after I left, 5 years after I left. So yeah.
And what is it that keeps you going through those 6 years? Because I imagine a lot of people must be 2 years, 3 years into that and be like, it's just not going to happen?
I'm still in it. Honestly, I'm still in it. Like I've done some amazing things and I've loved every second of it, but I'm still waiting for someone to trust me with something like a really big 50 cast, 30 cast project, which I know I can do because I've just bashed out 7 movie sets with 30 people in each set, all different vibes, whatever. But it's just I'm still trying to kind of wait on that. Not wait on it because you shouldn't wait for anything, but I'm trying to wait for someone to give me that opportunity to just really go for it. So it's tough. It was what I'd say to them is it's tough. But if you love it, you'll keep going, you'll keep pushing. And there's like so many factors come into it, like money and living situation. I've worked in bars, I've worked in a club, and I've always taught on the side. But yeah, I'd just say if you love it, you'll keep going and you'll keep developing and you'll keep finding new inspiration. You'll keep finding new skills. I also think it's a really good idea to find another skill within our community. Photography, editing, music, anything that keeps you in the realm, I think is a good thing to do. So yeah, it's a tough one, especially choreography, because there's agents for choreography, but the work, like unless you've got that artist or you've got that connection to that TV gig, or it's really hard to kind of get your foot in the door as a new choreographer, I think.
And what would your advice be to a new choreographer trying to get their foot in the door? How do they get that first job? It's
kind of a good thing to really focus on networking and like assisting or maybe requesting to assist somebody. I assist someone that's kind of how I got my first job. I assisted my friend Joel with Rena, and then I ended up choreographing for her with obviously his consent and his well wishes. But yeah, ask to assist. I'm always open to have people to assist me as well, by the way. So if anyone wants to ask me that comes to class regularly and wants to kind of give it a go, I just did a job recently for another artist called Ash Nico. And one of my teachers that works for me with my youth company, she was like, I actually really fancy just coming to assist you on there. I was like, absolutely, let's go. And I feel like she learnt a lot because it's long days and there's like, sometimes you get there at 9 and you don't do anything till 5. So you just sat there like this the whole time. You've got to keep yourself going. So yeah, I would say ask to assist, network, put your stuff out and think of that USP. What makes you different? There's a lot of people now that are working a lot younger than I did, and it's because they've got something that is different and something that like people want a piece of, I suppose.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for this. This has been really fun.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this episode, please share it. If you want to see more of these, click subscribe. And if you've got any questions or anything you want to ask, just drop them in the comments below. See you in the next session.